What are we calling this? Is this a podcast?
Red. Clash.
Welcome everyone to Reddit Talks Clash, a Clash of Clans podcast hosted by the moderators of the Clash of Clans subreddit. I'm Spencer, and joining me today are my fantastic co-hosts. We have Rick, Sam, and Liam. And we're also thrilled to have a very special guest on the show, Ferri, the new-ish community manager of Clash of Clans at Supercell. It's not every day we get to sit down with someone who plays a pivotal role in shaping the experiences of us and all the players around the globe. So, Ferri, welcome to the show. It's fantastic to have you with us. How are you doing today?
Hello, thank you for having me. First of all, this is really, really nice. I'm doing great, actually. Yeah, the weather is finally a little bit better here at Helsinki, which is good. There was some sun today. So, yeah, looking forward to this podcast.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be asking some questions, doing a little bit of an interview to get some inside insights and just basically learn about you too, because you're more of a newer face to the community. So, without further ado, let's jump in and just easy question for you. Who are you? What's your gaming background? Where do you come from before Supercell? And what led you to Supercell, we could say?
All right. Let's see. So I'm Ferri, as you all know, but my first name is Fernando. Actually, Ferri is just my middle name, but no one calls me by my first name except my mom. So my gaming background is, let's say, all over the place, as I guess most community managers and people working with games. We're all gamers at heart, so we've been playing games ever since I was a kid. All kind of consoles I had, and then I moved to PC gaming. But I love them both. I don't have a favorite, except I prefer PS5 over other consoles. And well, I guess when it comes to games, I would say my favorite franchise is Final Fantasy. I'm a Final Fantasy fan by heart. I have tattoos. I have a bunch of merch. I have everything you can think
Oh,
of.
wow.
But I also play a lot of mobile games, a lot of PC games, like different PC games as well. So as I said, all over the place. And why Supercell and how I got here, where I was before. So I was working another mobile game developer before. It's called Wildlife Studios. There are some games out there that some of you might know, but I was there for a little bit over 5 years. And I was as a community lead in there. So it was also a pretty good job managing community and for different games, the games we had. And before that, I was working for Riot Games. I guess some of you might know about Riot Games.
Oh, yeah.
So I was
yeah.
working with League of Legends for 4 years. So that was before the Riot Games had Valorant or anything like that. They just had League of Legends at the time. But it was a great experience. Was working such a big game, such huge communities and everything. It was definitely something that shaped me into who I am today as a professional. And yeah, I've been working with games for about 11 years now. And how I got to Supercell was just like kind of honestly a coincidence. Because I had just left my previous job because they were moving their office to Brazil, and I didn't want to go back to Brazil. I was living in Ireland, so I decided to just leave because I don't want to move my life to Brazil at the time. And at the same month, I decided to leave my previous job. Supercell reached out to me, a recruiter, saying, "Hey, we're looking for a community manager. You look like you have the good experience. You have the background for it, so you're interested." And I say, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So it was like a long process. I started the process in July, and the process I think ended in late September or early October. So it took a while. And the plan at first, I don't think it was for me to be in Clash of Clans, to be honest. But I guess somewhere along the way, plans change during my interview process, and I was moved to Clash of Clans. So it was kind of a coincidence. I didn't peak like I want Clash of Clans, anything like that right away. I love Supercell. I know Supercell. I know their games. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, it's just a fortunate coincidence, let's say.
Awesome. So I guess you're obviously the new community manager. Darian has been there for ages. Everyone knows him.
Mhm.
But I would
Mhm.
wonder how many people really know what he actually did. Obviously, everyone saw
Yeah.
him pop up on Reddit and, give his best dad jokes. But could you explain kind of what your actual role is at Supercell and what a community manager really does?
Yeah. All we do is create memes. as everyone think. That's our community
Oh, what an
manager
easy job.
job. What a job! Yeah, all
What
we
a
have to do is
job.
create memes all day. No, that's just a small part of the job. Unfortunately, a small part of the job is take care of our social channels. So we're behind all the content calendar. So everything you see on our channels, usually it's either us or collaboration between us and like let's say marketing, something like that. We're always working together. But ultimately, the calendar is up to us. So we're the ones in charge of making sure the stuff you see on social channels are published, are there, and what exactly is going to be there. We are the decision makers when it comes to that. So that's part of the job. Something else we do, and I think you all know, is we're behind the videos you see. So we have to write the script of the videos. We have to decide, okay, what's going to go in the video. We need to check the information, get the stuff that's going to be in the video to share with our partner, the film studio that record with us. So there's a whole process in doing videos, which is also takes a lot of time. It's not easy. That's something as well, and also in charge of making sure that all the feedback we get from community, all the issues, all the good things, the bad things, we are the bridge between the community and our team, the Clash team. So the game designers, our engineers, and everyone else. Any kind of issue we see, we need to make sure that we're doing a good job communicating that to the team and advocating for the players to make sure that okay, this is a big deal. So we should be looking at this. We should be pushing for this. So that's something that's also on us. Even though, of course, we have game designers, we have a lot of people from the team there on Reddit. They're checking Reddit every day, just so you know, and other channels.
Really? Oh.
So they're also like they're also like seeing what's happening. They're very proactive when it comes, hey, this is an issue. They're talking about this. We also have to make sure that we are doing that and we are pushing for stuff that maybe they are not seeing eye to eye with players. So we have to bridge the gap, let's say, and make sure that we're advocating for players at the end of the day.
As a new community manager, at least for us, are you looking to do anything differently from what's been done in the past, or do you have any specific goals that you want to do as the CM for Clash?
That's a very good question. That's something that I probably was asked during the interview process. So I think the main thing, at least when I see community, one, I like keeping things fresh. I feel like if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you kind of get stale. So community is something that changes very fast. There's a lot of things happening. A lot. I mean, memes are, of course, a joke, something like that, but it's part of being relevant and understanding what's happening, the culture with their players, the community, what they're talking about, what's fun and what's not fun, where it resonates with them. So I think it's really important to keep things fresh, and that's something I want to do, and I'm starting to do as well. And I also enjoy try new things. I'm the kind of person that embrace changes. So if you want to try something new, let's try something new. Let's try to let's see. We're doing something like, oh, the format of these videos or things have always been like this. Okay, why you don't try it like this? Maybe it'll work. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't work, we'll learn from it. It's fine. Players will let it know. Hey, this sucks. Okay, thank you. So we try something new. We try something different. So I'm the kind of person that I like to try different things, and we're gonna have some new stuff very very soon. By the way, this month. That's a community event. I won't say much yet, but it's supposed to be something big as well. So I think what I want at the end of the day is just make sure that I'm advocating for players. I'm someone that I want to be seen as someone, okay, I can count on a Ferri if there's an issue, if there's something, I know he's going to be hearing us. He'll be like talking for us when there's an issue and everything like that. And I'm also really, really passionate about transparency and like I want to start doing this more often. You probably see I started doing this last week. But whenever there's an issue or something you want to talk about, no matter how hard it is or how painful it is, I want to talk about it. And that's it. If it's something we need to hear because we're screwing up, fine, let us have it. But I want to hear about it. I'm going to communicate it. That's something I really appreciate, and that's something that I'm going to be doing more and more in time as soon as I have more time as well. Because now I'm by myself, so things are a bit hard. But so I'm gonna get some help, and I'll be able to do these things more often.
Well, that's very awesome to hear. I'm Liam, and just speaking about that, advocating for the community. What have you heard about us, more specifically Reddit or Redditors, before you were thrown to the wolves, so to say?
Look, to be honest, it was very positive. I mean,
Really?
I used to use Reddit, so I know Reddit, the platform. I mean, several subreddits to my personal account. But the thing that they told me was like, hey, Reddit are most engaged and passionate Clash community that we have. So, and that's because players of like usually players in there, they know really well the game. They know really well what they're talking about. They're not just like saying things. They actually like have data. They have experience. They have something to show for. They know what they're talking about. So we need to hear what they're saying. And the one thing as well, they're very direct. Let's say in their feedback, the way they share things. And that's I don't think that's a bad thing, but that's something you need to know how to handle and deal with, because sometimes I guess depends on the person. You might like take offense to what's being said, like, oh, it's criticizing my job or my work, like you're saying we're not doing anything right. But I don't see it that way. I just see it as very valuable feedback from people that love the game, people who know the game very well. And a lot of times those people know the game more than us, to be honest, a lot than us. So I feel that Reddit is a great place for you to know more about the game, know how the community is really feeling about things. Like they'll let you know if this feature is bad, if something is not good, if this new content sucks, they will let you know. They won't sugarcoat anything for you. So I love Reddit for that, and that's something they prepared me for it, and that's something that I really, really appreciated.
Nice.
That is high praise indeed. High praise we very rarely get.
There you go. It's not all bad.
All right. Well, earlier you mentioned you knew about Supercell games, but you were kind of new to like Clash of Clans and stuff like that. So I think it's safe to assume that you've begun your Clash journey in playing the game. I wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on the journey itself in the game and how you're doing in that journey.
Yeah, that's a great question because, of course, I knew about Supercell before joining Supercell and their games. I used to play more Brawl Stars, for example, before. So when I got the interview for Supercell, I decided to play all the games again, not just Brawl Stars. Used to everything, and that's when I really started my journey with Clash of Clans. So it was around July last year. I'm proud to say Town Hall 12 is not great, but I don't think it's bad.
That's good. It's good going.
Yeah, I rushed a little bit, not gonna lie. So now I'm trying to balance things out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to stop rushing. So I'm doing a better job now, making my base look a bit more less bad. So I'm doing the best now, and I didn't, even though I watch YouTubers, content creators, and everything. I'm the kind of person that I like to do things on my own, like I also learn by trial and error. Of course, when it comes to like clan wars and everything, I'm playing with my clan. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So I always do some research before doing attacks. I check for the best attacks and everything. But everything else, I just like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I think is best, and I'm gonna learn if it sucks and everything. But yeah, I'm on Town Hall 12, and I'm taking my time before moving forward. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I know Town Hall 12 has all of those hero levels, so you gotta get through all of those.
Exactly. Yeah, it does take a while. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of playing Clash of Clans, you've been going for a year now. Are there what's kind of the favorite bit for you? Is there any attacks you're particularly loving? Is there any elements of the game which you thought, damn, I really like this?
I really, really like, and I'm not sure a lot of people are gonna agree with me, but I do like capital raids. I just find that so chill, to be honest. So I like the capital raids because they're chill. But I do love the clan wars. It's something I look forward all the time. So clan wars, I really enjoy the game as well. The builder base, I have my own personal mixed feelings about, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree.
Oh yeah.
Even though I do enjoy builder base, I do have my issues with it. So I would say that in my list of like enjoyment in the game, builder base is definitely not at the top or even close. But yeah, clan wars and capital raids are my favorite.
Yeah, that's just made me curious. Do Supercell employees all sit together in one clan, or have you all dispersed with your own friends elsewhere?
It's honestly up to you. Like I'm in my own clan with some friends. I didn't join. There is like a clan for like, okay, if you're part of the Clash team, if you want, you can join this clan.
Yeah.
But again, it's optional, so it's up to you. Yeah.
Are some of the better players in over there, giving you any good tips as you catch up? I know there's like Mark was top of the leaderboards for a little bit last week, and
she's a
like
beast.
Petri's really good. Are you getting good advice?
Yeah. Usually, I'm kind of person that I like to figure things out on my own, or I'm watching YouTube videos and everything. I'm not proactively going, "Hey, take a look at my base. Give me your feedback." I'm not doing that. When I joined, they gave me some like general tips about the game, but just like very like basic stuff for like someone who's new to the game. But I haven't like sit down with them like, "Hey, look at my base now. Tell me how I can be better," or something like that. I should do that, but again, since I'm like just checking YouTube videos from creators and things like that, I'm just doing my own thing. I feel like that I progress better in that way.
Sweet. Speaking of progression, actually, I saw that on a Clash of Clans Twitter post. There's this new Super Troop event that just dropped. Can we read into that and assume that there'll be similar events in the future with Super Troops, or is this more testing the waters? Or
Yes, you can expect more of these events in the future. So as you mentioned, that's why it was called Super Troop event, right? In the calendar. There's no Super Drag mention in there. That's because the idea is to run these events again. Of course, it won't be exactly the same thing. We might make some changes, changes in terms of gameplay, in terms of in progression or rewards. But the idea of using Super Troops as the event, yes, that's gonna happen again.
Last year there was a bit of a talk. I remember we asked Darian about it, and that was seeing if it would allow us to train 3 super troops at once. And now with this event, we could have 3 active super troops. So is this event kind of like a replacement or alternate route of doing 3 super troops, or is it just something else entirely?
Uh, it's a little bit of both. So it's one way to make this possible, while also making something bigger out of it. So the idea of making the event, because again, you get to use 3, you get to also progress in the event track, you get rewards, you're gonna get the decorations, you're gonna get your epic equipment, and so on. So it was kind of the idea to merging the two and making something bigger out of it. But I won't say that it is just like a test. So hey, maybe if these events go well in the future, we just like make a standard thing to have 3 super troops. Sorry, but it's definitely something that we wanted to do as well. To okay, let's give them this option and see how it goes.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you're kind of maybe planning to have more of these Super Troop events, but obviously you started with Super Dragons. Is there any particular reason why you started with Super Dragons, or was it, spin a wheel, see what we get, let's go for it?
Uh, there were no like major plans or like reasoning behind why super dragons. It was just something that our events team decided, which they seem to be more appropriate, especially for maybe people players who are not like used to using super troops very often or anything like that. So you want to like dragon is something very the dragon is something very, how can I say, known to everyone, and something that like it would be nice to have a super dragon available for everyone as well. So and push that as the face of the event this time. But there was no like any other like crazy reason behind it or anything like that. It's just like a choice for the first event, and then for the next ones, of course, going to be different troops. But yeah.
The events have been pretty spread out every other month since they started, and this is the first time we're getting back-to-back months of events. Is this kind of the new norm, doing one every month?
Kind of, yeah. Again, the events are something new, right, for the game. It's something that started last year with Clash Royale, so it's something new. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what's the future for events, and that requires testing. So that's why we're running events now every other month, every month, so we can actually test as much as we can, different type of events and everything. And the idea is right now, as you can see, like we have a month that we're gonna have this bigger event with like the skins and everything, like we had with the Dragon Festival, and the other event's gonna be like a small scale event like the Super Troop, and then the next month you can expect another big event again, and so on. We're probably gonna keep like doing that that cadency of events in that way for a while until we have a better understanding where events stand in the game.
Makes sense, yeah. And if these events, if they're happening on a recurring basis, will they consistently be at the same part of the month? So like right before clan games?
Probably, but again, is not set in stone. So we might come next month, get the next month, say, hey, yeah, let's do it like a different time of the month this month. Sorry, there's just things to be considered. Like sometimes we're trying to be more wary of, like, for example, running events during Clan War League, for example, because of the troops, temporary troops, and things like that might affect, usually will affect the outcome of wars and everything. So we're also trying to be aware of the other things that are happening in the game at the same time, because we don't want to mess anything up. But again, it's not set in stone. We might change dates and everything, but for now, we're probably going to keep it this way.
And can we expect to have a new epic equipment each one of these events? Because the last 3, we've gotten a new epic equipment.
For now, yes. I don't have the full roadmap for epic equipments, so I can't say for sure that that's going to happen, let's say, each month of the year until the end of the year. But I can say for the next few events, there will be epic equipments. Yes, for sure.
All right, cool. And just a bit more about the actual event pass that we're seeing in all these events. So I think a few months ago now, we even had Darian on here and we asked about the potential of a diamond pass, like Clash Royale saw, and this community got a bit worried about, to say the least. And people were quite happy when Darian came out and said, "Don't worry, guys, you're not seeing a diamond pass. We're not going to do that." Yet a lot of people have now been kind of suggesting that maybe the event passes are just a diamond pass in disguise, and I wondered if you kind of had any thoughts on that.
That's hard to say, because I think a lot of that is also a matter of perception, how you see the event
Yeah.
pass. For us, we definitely don't see it as a diamond pass, because it is directly attached to this limited time event, and you get like this very specific rewards and everything that are attached to these events. So I wouldn't call it a diamond pass, because at least for diamond pass, if you think about it, it'd be the same pass as a gold pass with extra rewards or better rewards, anything like that, but it'll be the same kind of progression. So again, we don't see it as a diamond pass. We definitely don't have any plans of adding a diamond pass anytime soon in the future, or anything at all. That's never been considered. So yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think to be fair, the comparison to a diamond pass, it makes sense on one level that it's an extra $5 to spend a month, but it's also like optional and not tied in with the gold pass too. So you can spend only $5. I don't know. I'm a fan of the way it's implemented, but I guess moving on. All the events so far have been fairly similar. Has there been any talk about changing up the structure of these events to add some variety, or is this kind of like the format we should settle into for the long haul?
For now, we're testing this format, so we don't have any plans, at least in short term, to making something different from what we see right now. Super different when it comes to events, the way you progress, collecting the soft currency and everything, whatever it is. So right now we're testing this format, and because if you try to change too much, then you don't have a baseline, don't have a comparison. It's hard to compare the two. We need time to test things and make understanding how they perform and if they're good or not, if players like it or not. So we don't have any plans on changing this format, at least in the short term.
Yeah, that makes sense to keep that familiarity for the player. Speaking of hot topics, I saw one of your latest tweets about the balance. And so there's been recently some talks about eSports and the balance. Can you tell us a bit more about the priorities and where the priorities lie between creating a competitive environment for pros versus a fun experience for the casual players, or at least how the team is approaching that issue?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. When I tweeted that last week, and I'm sorry, I can't say X or whatever they say now, but the idea was to be, again, start to be more transparent with players and let them know where we're at, and that we do recognize and understand that it's a pain point right now. So that's why I also mentioned like nerfing or buffing, whatever it is not the solution, because we need to look at this at the entire player base. We can't make a change that would just like satisfy a small portion of the player base and they'll be happy, but then we're gonna deteriorate the experience for the rest of the player base. So we need to think of a different alternative that is not just like nerf or buff. We need something that's long term, that's sustainable, and at best do at least try our best to make both sides happy. So one of the things that it's being asked, and it is something that we are looking at right now, is the pro mode alternative. That's something that seems to be could be a good alternative for the more competitive players. So also something that came up is kind of like a ban system. So a lot of games have that already. Before a match, you can pick, let's say, troops to ban or things like that. So there's also a ban system that could be implemented as an option. So again, a lot of different routes we could take on this. That's why we're talking about this right now. We're gonna run some tests internally, see which one is the best one we think for this issue. But again, we're looking at two different things here. One is a more short-term solution, and one's a long-term, because none of this is like something that sometimes it's like, okay, just like is a switch or a toggle on and off that you do it and you got it. So everything requires time, development, and everything, and time from the team that we're also spending on a lot of that stuff that's happening this year. So we're trying to think of two different things: one a short term, and then a long term. There'll be the definite solution. But these are just some examples of the things we're looking at, and hopefully I'll be able to update this topic soon with like, hey, moving forward, we test this. This is a most possible solution for us right now, or we're going with this route, we're not going with this route. So that's something I want to do as well, is update the community on these things, so to let them know where you're at.
All right. Well, another thing that's been a huge talk in the community is the amount of ores we're getting versus the amount of equipment we have to upgrade. For example, just in the last 4 weeks, we've gotten these two epic equipments and the two common equipments with the latest updates. And there's a lot of frustration over how much ore we're getting. And so I wanted to ask if there's any planned changes to the rate of ore gain or any additional sources of ore coming in the near future.
Yes, great question. We know that is an issue. We know that ores are like the number one resource the game right now. It's understandable, especially at the rate we're adding new equipments to the game. So the something we want to do in the future, for at least for this year, is introduce new ways to get ores. So I guess the events was one of them. That's one way we found to introduce ores. You can either get in the track, you can also buy with the currency you get in the events. But we know that's not enough, and so we're looking to new ways to add ores in the game. I don't have a answer to right now. Hey, this is the other way we're gonna add it. This is how it's gonna be introduced in the game. But we definitely know there's a problem. We definitely know they need more ores in the game economy. So this is something we're looking at, to find new ways to add ores to the game that is still good for both sides. I guess all I can say is hopefully soon I'll be able to share more news about this, at least to give you an idea of where we're planning on going when it comes to ores.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's definitely been a big change in how we look at like hero power and hero progression. So, especially on Reddit, there's been a lot of debate about the value of hero upgrades after the Town Hall 16 update. It's more painful than ever before to be without your heroes during the upgrades. The utility of those upgrades has decreased significantly with how power is shifted away from heroes and into equipment. And it's frustrating for everyone to have to try and be in Legends, be active daily, do wars, do everything else. Can you just speak to us a little bit about the direction that the game is moving with the hero upgrades?
Yeah, this is a good topic, and unfortunately, there's no easy answer to it. Mainly because when we added the hero equipment system feature to the game, it brings novelty. It could be fun most of the times and exciting and everything, but it also brings challenges. And as you said, right now using more for a hero is more important than ever. And we know that being down a hero is a big issue. And right now, what we're trying to do is just, as we mentioned, the Q&A, I think was published a couple weeks ago, right? We know that the reason why you can't use heroes while upgrading is because the books, it is a big revenue source for us. And we like to say it, but again, we need to make sure that Clash of Clans is a game that's sustainable for the long run. So we try to balance things out. And one of the things we're trying to do is implement new revenue sources in the game, so we don't have to be so dependent on the other ones. So that means, if I'm just using here events as an example, but could be anything else. If this starts to go well and it is actually something that's good for the game, for the players, for us, then if that starts to go well, then we don't have to rely on books or heroes upgrade so much, or players upgrading heroes. So that's something we could possibly like make it easier to get books, or make it easier to or be able to use heroes for a specific amount of time where upgrading, something like that. We can think of alternatives, because right now, unfortunately, I don't have a solution, or I don't have something that we have ready or planned to solve this issue. Just being transparent here, it is something that we still need to figure out. Okay, we know this is becoming an issue. We know this is something that is potentially going to become even bigger of an issue as time progresses and we add more stuff, more hero equipment. So it is something that we need to stop, figure it out, and see what to do to make it not so painful for players in the future.
Something else that's been concerning me too with all this was also in that Q&A you had mentioned the possibility of adding more heroes in the future. Are we talking about like a fifth hero, or going down the rabbit hole of just a lot more heroes? It's really just gonna just exacerbate this problem of feeling like you're not at full strength for the Clash is like a 3-year journey ish from start to max, and you're without heroes for over a third of that. I don't know. How certain is it that we're going to get more heroes in the future?
I can say is that something that is being currently explored and tested. What a Clash look like if we had more heroes. I'm not just saying more heroes. So this is something that we're looking at. And again, this also might be something that would help alleviate this issue, because let's say if you have you can use four heroes, but you have more than 4 available. So while you're training one, you can use the other one, for example. So this is something that we are looking at the moment. Yes, we are planning, and maybe we could have more heroes. I don't have a timeline. I don't have anything that I can tell you right now, because anything would be just like a speculation, since we don't have anything defined. But it is a fact that we are looking into this, and it is something that's being talked about. It is something that's being discussed and everything. Because again, we are looking in the long term of the game. We are looking like how things will look like a year from now. How things will look like a year with hero equipments and everything, like another town hall and all that. How the game is going to look like, and we know that progression only stacks up and it gets worse and worse. So one of the things we're also looking at as a main point of action for us this year is how to alleviate the progression burden. So that's also something we're looking at, because we know that it's released more town halls and everything. It's only going to be worse, and that's not something fun. It's not sustainable as well. So this is all part of a package. Let's say I know we were talking about heroes, but then I went on a tangent here. But it's all part of the package. So it's a long week, and I'm not. I don't have I'm not gonna sugarcoat as anything like this. It is a year-long plan, a year-long objective for us. It's not something that we're gonna figure it out right now and implement right now. It is something that might take a year, anything like something like that.
Yeah, so kind of could just continue a little bit on this progression route, which you've just been talking about. I guess free-to-play players quite like Clash of Clans because they don't see it, a lot of them don't actually see it as pay to win, right? It's pay to progress, and I think a lot of people like the fact that if you keep playing the game, if you're free to play, you can actually max your base. While people who buy the gold pass, buy deals, they'll get there quicker, but you can still do it without spending money. But I think a lot of people have maybe felt a frustration at the ores because it almost feels like Supercell doesn't want you to be able to max your equipment, considering the rate at which equipment keeps coming out, and I guess the difficulty in getting yours. And I know you just talked about how you want to kind of change the progression system, change the way ores are distributed, etc., which is obviously great to hear. But I'm just wondering, is it Supercell's plan to kind of stop people or not stop, but do you really want people to be able to max their equipment, or is it the idea that most people actually never manage to max their equipment and have to be a bit more selective about which ones they choose to upgrade?
The plan is definitely not for people not being able to max equipment. That's not the plan. It's just it is a new feature. It is something that we have to be more conservative about it at the start and to understand exactly player adoption, player feedback, how it impacts the balance of the game, and a lot of other things. If it is something that it's widely available right away, and it's easy to max out as well. Anyone who spends a lot of money just like going to be able to max everything super fast, or something that doesn't require a lot of dedication, time, or grind. It's all about finding this balance. And when you lost a new feature, it's only harder. Like it's hard enough when it's a feature that's been in the game for years. When it's something new, it's even harder to find the balance. Okay, how much is too much? How much should we make this available? How much do we need to make this? How hard is it to make this? It's something that we need time to understand all these things, to get data, to get player feedback, sentiment, and all that, and then it starts making adjust accordingly. Again, all these kind of things that affects these big parts of the game, because now we all know that hero quit is a big part of the game now as well. It makes a big difference. It is something that we need to tread lightly, and we need to make sure that when making changes to this, we need to do it right, because it's gonna impact a lot of players as soon as make any changes, for better or for worse. So right now, again, I know this answer feels a bit empty, but it is hard for me to give you any answer for things that we don't have anything like on the horizon that I can tell you, hey, this is the way it's going, because we don't have this right now. It is still things that we are collecting data, we're looking at, analyzing, understanding, for then decide the next step. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
All right, let's change gears towards questions our users have.
About the Painter's Scenery War and spending money, and is there any reason that we can't purchase that for gems?
Yes. So that was mainly some, let's say, bad communication between ourselves and the community. So mainly is that these sceneries, is not something that would happen again, just so you know, but is that when it is connected, let's say for a skin, there are different tiers, right? So it could be gold, legendary, and the same should be applied to sceneries. And that's not something that was communicated by us. So we did a bad job on this side. And that's something that's why I said it's unlikely something like this would ever happen again. But it did this time, and that's on us for poor communication. But is that this specific case, this scenery was not one that was supposed to be out by gems. It was supposed to be IFP in this case, because it is a different tier of scenery. Just like we have tiers of the skins, it would be the same for tiers of scenery. So again, I'm just being very transparent here. It was a screw up from our side. We should have properly communicated this. It was just led to confusion. But that's why I said it won't happen again in the future, because we've learned a lesson. So this won't happen again. And thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of players that was waiting for it to come back for gems, and then it came back with a price. They're like, no.
Yeah, I know. It was really bad. It was like, damn, we screwed up.
So another big thing that was mentioned, I think it was a month ago or 2 months ago, and it described 2024 being the year of the home village. And so that made us wonder, can we expect any clan capital or builder-based content at all this year?
So to be as honest as I can, you shouldn't expect much builder base and clan capital content this year. We want to make home village the goal this year, because we see there's a lot that can be improved, a lot that can be fixed, and if we try to divide our focus and workforce into 3 different parts of the game, and then it's going to be hard to accomplish anything meaningful. So we want to make home village the goal for this year. It doesn't mean there won't be anything at all. Like we won't be looking at clan capital or builder base, but anything that we release for these 2 will be very minimal. if compared to Home Village.
Okay, and then just a quick follow-up question. If we see this year as being the one for Home Village, next year would it be like a non-Home Village year, or just back to
Please
how
no.
it used to be every other update? A whole year of builder-based updates. I think that's what the community wants.
Oh my lord.
Just be their base this year. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it depends on how this year is going to go. So are we going to achieve the things we set out ourselves to achieve this year for Home Village? Did we deliver the things we're going to deliver? Was it good? Was it
Mhm.
bad? Everything. Like, I think it's going to depend how this year is going to go. So let's say we didn't plan that far ahead for like next year is going to be this, because if we screw up this year, or we don't deliver everything we need to deliver this year, or if it's not up to the standards we want this year, then we need to okay, we need to keep working on this. We need to make it better. We need to we need to make sure that we're delivering what we're doing right now for the Home Village is the best we can. So I guess the answer right now is we don't have the plan for next year to be builder base or capital or Home Village. It's all going to depend on how this year goes.
Just kind of looking at another thing that has come back recently, we've seen the Goblin Builder make his grand return to the joy
of course.
of everyone in the community. I think I've seen, posted thousands of upvotes saying, "Thank God the Goblin Builder is back. We loved him so much last time he was here. I'm
Yeah.
thrilled. I'm overjoyed." So, kind of bouncing off that excitement, how much more can we expect to see him?
So I know everyone loves the Goblin Builder. He's even get emotional when we talk about him. But the idea is for the Goblin Builder to come back again in the future. Like, it will go away, then come back. But we want to keep iterating on the Goblin Builder, so to make it better. So now in this round, it was different than what before the last time it was introduced. So we want to make sure to keep collecting feedback. Okay, players didn't like this. They like this. They still hit his face. Whatever it is, we want to keep that won't ever change, by the way. So we want to keep iterating on the things on the Goblin Builder to make it like an extra resource. Again, it's not something that you have to use, anything like that. Just to be an extra resource if you want to expend some extra gems. We want to make it, of course, more appealing, not on your face. So we're gonna keep iterating on this feature, but it won't go away, at least not in the near future.
Yeah, is there any kind of I guess schedule or like rhyme or rhythm to when he's going to appear, or is it just chuck him in whenever the community feels like they've just seen the back of him?
There actually is a schedule behind the Goblin Builder's return. So he will be around a little bit longer. I mean, you can all see in game, right? How long he'll be around. But then he'll probably come back, hopefully in a couple months, and then he'll return. So the idea is for him to keep coming back. But again, that's just for the next one. Maybe for the next iteration, it's something that takes longer or less. Hard to say. Depends on what we're gonna change on the Goblin Builder. But that's the plan for the next one, at least.
It's funny. Most of the complaints I'm seeing about it are about his punchable face. So at least to me, that it kind of says people don't have a problem with the core concept.
Yeah, I know it can be sometimes the how much he asks for an upgrade and everything can be a little bit too much. And we know that it's still something that we need to make a little bit better, not only in that term, but also, again, the whole UI, the way you're showing the game and everything. We want to make sure that, again, it's not in your face. It's not something that's making you confused and not understand or click by exit, whatever it is. We don't want that to be the experience. His punchable face, I guess, it's intentional at this point. If anything, we're going to make it worse. So
Yes, I love that.
yeah. But yeah, I think the things we want to change the Goblin Builder is just make it more appealing to players and less like a burden or like a nuisance in the game. Yeah.
So one of the topics I've seen coming up in the chat and on Reddit is with regards to the recent change to the hero potion that takes heroes all the way to max for the town hall instead of the +5 levels. A lot of the concern is that we're starting to see clans kind of exploit that and use super rushed bases and then pop these potions and have max level power and war weight that's essentially 2, 3, 4 town halls lower than what their offense is going to be capable of. Are you guys tracking on how much that's being exploited at all, or are you guys aware that it could become a much bigger issue in the future?
from the start, we do have people looking at the data like on a daily basis. So it's not something that's going over our heads. We know if that's something being exploited or something that's causing damage to the player experience, anything like that. We're gonna be able to identify that. So it is something that I need to check with the team behind it to understand what are the next plans for it and everything like that. We know that is an issue. We know this is becoming an issue. So it is something we have to check and see what is the best alternative, how to tackle it. And it's the kind of stuff, again, it is very good if the community comes and say, we know there's an issue, but like propose, like, is there anything you see as a possible solution for this? What to make it a little bit better? What to make it like how it's less of an exploit or some make it more fair? Anything like that is also super helpful for us because sometimes we can get a little bit of like a tunnel vision. Everything might be a little bit harder to see things. So that's when the community comes in and really helps with that kind of feedback and suggestions.
Makes sense. Yeah. There was speaking of the community and feedback. There was a thread recently about asking feedback for the recruitment system, and I know the community is very interested in this. So, is there any progress or any updates that you can share about the improvements to the recruitment system?
So what I can say is not going to be exactly about the recruitment system. It's just about it's recruitment, it's clans and everything. We're looking. That's part of our roadmap for this year. It's not something that's like super far ahead or not going to see until next year. Is that we're making changes, improvements not only to that, but to the whole clan feature, functionality, and things like that. So we want to we're giving some attention to that right now because we know that's been on the back burner for a while and we haven't touched that. So we're making sure this is going to be something that we're going to be able to deliver soon, hopefully, because we're already running our internal play tests with that, which is really, really good. So hopefully we'll be able to share more details on those things soon. So right now I won't be able to share anything, but yes, it is something that's being currently tested. So this is which is really positive.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Another thing that people I think have been asking for absolutely forever. Well, maybe not people, maybe a tiny subsection of the Clash of Clans community, i.e., probably just Clash Ninja, which is about the Clash of Clans API and whether defense levels will ever come to it.
So that's a little more technical, but I'm pretty sure we talked about that last year, and I think Clash Ninja was even part of the discussion because we had a discussion with our engineers and everything. He was there. There were some limitations, I believe, why that was not part of the API. So I know there was a reason for that. It's not something that's like we don't want to do it. There was a reason that's actually technical reason stopping us from doing it. I need to check with our team again to see if maybe a solution was proposed or something that can be done about it. I don't fully remember, so I have to get back to you with that one. But I know it's something that was talked before, and there was a reason why we couldn't do it. But I'll see if that changed, maybe.
Okay. Everyone waits and hope.
Yeah. And I've got another question. The last update, we got a nice new refreshed clan chat. Is this just the first step in a more changes coming to the clan chat, or is this our new clan chat that we're going to be set with?
No, there are more changes coming. Some changes were like they were almost ready to be delivered in the last patch, but we had to hold them back at the last minute because there were some issues that we just like can't just like push the update with these issues. But there are more changes coming to the clan chat. That's not the end of it. That's for sure.
Alright.
There's more stuff that's coming, like some very stuff that seems basic, but we still don't have it. And I think it's been very appreciated by the community. So there are more things coming to the Clash to the chat update, and hopefully, I think it'll probably come in the next update.
Awesome.
So, something I just saw in chat that I had maybe missed with the announcement, but there's only going to be 6 teams in the World Championship. It says, is that true? And then if so, do you know why?
It is true, yes. Now the why, I honestly can't really say because the eSports side of things is managed by another team. So it's not really part of my scope or the area I'm
Yeah.
usually part of, or the discussions, anything like that. I need to check with them. It is something that can come back to you or Reddit and like say, hey, this is the reason, but I don't have the answer right now. But it's definitely something I can get the answer to and share with the rest of the players, because if everyone is wondering why, I think it's more than fair that we share why.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And another question which I've just seen pop up in chat is about the donation limits, which obviously clan castles can now store 50 housing space. And a lot of time people are requesting troops like loons or hog riders, whatever, which take 5 housing space, so you need 10 of them to fill a CC. And historically, you've always been able to do that in kind of one donation request, so one player has been able to fill it for everyone. But when we got the new clan castle level in Tower 15, we never saw an increase to the troop donation limit, and I was wondering if we would see a change to buff that to 10 troops, so that kind of 1 CC fill can be done again.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That
So
was an evil laugh.
yeah. Right now, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but we don't have plans of that being changed, and that extra housing space being added. Again, I could check with the team, because maybe I'm just oblivious to it, and maybe there's something that's there. But as far as I know, it's not something part of the plan. So I'm sorry, but I would anyway double check with the team. Maybe it's just something they're working on and was not aware. But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for you on that one.
Yeah, is there any particular reason why it wouldn't be increased to 10? Or
Why you wouldn't?
yeah, why it wouldn't go up to 10 donation limits instead of the current 9?
No, honestly. At least I didn't catch any discussion or any topics about this internally. Why is not? So it's something that I'll check with them to understand. Maybe there is a reason they're not, I'm not aware of. Something, any kind of limitations or something I don't know. But I'll check with them. And again, this is the kind of thing that I can come back and say, hey, this is the answer to this question, because I need more context. Yeah.
All right. One of probably our last question. I saw, I think it was yesterday or the day before, you posted a thread on Reddit asking for feedback or ideas regarding cosmetics. Is there any particular reason you threw that thread out there? Or was it just kind of a general thing?
No, it's because we are also making cosmetics something one of our goals for this year.
Mhm.
A way to make them better, more interesting, add new things that players want that we don't have in the game. So that's why we made the thread on Reddit, because we do want to hear from players like, okay, so what do you like? What you don't like? What do you want
Oh, yeah.
us to add to the game? Like, I personally love cosmetics. I'm the kind of person who loves like cosmetics. And so
Me
to
too.
me, it's a very interesting topic. And the more cosmetics, the better. So it is something that hopefully we'll be able to make some changes in the near future, because it is a
Mhm.
point of attention for us, and it's something that we want to make better, because we do see a lot of opportunities in Clash of Clans for cosmetics to make things better. And again, since cosmetics is something that super optional, doesn't affect gameplay at all, so it's something very like it's not harmful at all to the
Oh, yeah.
most of the player base. So it's something really cool to add, and it's only adds value, I'd say.
Awesome. Well, we are nearing the end, and I wanted to ask you if you have any other things you wanted to say now that you've got 103 people in the audience and more later once we post this.
Yes. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. This is really, really fun. I love the questions. I love being put on the spot. So thank you for that. And I think the other thing I would like to say as well, I know again, Darian was like iconic, he was the face of Clash of Clans and everything. Like, and I don't even expect to replace him or anything like that, because again, I think each one of us is someone unique, and we bring new things. So all I want to say is that thank you so much, and thank you for having me, welcoming me to the community. I promise I'll do my best. Hopefully, it will be just as fun and interesting as it was before. And again, please feel free to like tag me on Twitter or send me messages, whatever it is, like with feedback, or keep making Reddit posts or whatever it is about issues or things that are working. Again, I think that it's super good. I plan to interact as much as I can, be transparent with all of you. So just keep it coming. Yeah. And if you see me screw up or do something I shouldn't or whatever it is, please let me know.
Awesome.
Reddit's definitely the kind of place that's going to do that.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's been really awesome having you on, Ferri. I think we've got through a lot of questions, and yeah, really thankful for the time you've given us today. For everyone listening, if you joined midway through, you can find this whole podcast on Spotify, on Apple, on whatever you get your podcasts on. It should be there, so you can go back and listen to all the wonderful answers Ferri's just given us. But yeah, I think that just about does us. Ferri, once again, thank you so much for coming on. And thank you to everyone in the chat and people on Reddit who put in questions. Hopefully we got through a fair few of them for you. And we will see you all hopefully in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening.